Scene: sweeping panoramic shots of the barren valley of Elah. The sun beats down on the dusty ground. The camera moves to show the Israelite army, a collection of terrified men huddled behind large rocks and fortifications on a hillside. Their faces are etched with fear. For 40 days, a shadow has fallen over the valley of Elah. It is the shadow of a giant, a champion of the Philistines named Goliath. His figure is immense, clad in bronze armor that gleams menacingly under the sun. He patrols the valley floor, his steps shaking the ground. His voice, a thunderous roar, echoes across the hills, a daily torrent of insults and challenges. "Send out a man to fight me," he bellows. "If he is able to kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then you shall be our servants." On the hillside, the soldiers of Israel, the chosen people of God, can do nothing but listen in terror. They hide, their spirits broken, their courage evaporated. The army of the living God is paralyzed by fear. Scene: a young shepherd, David, arrives at the Israelite camp, carrying provisions. His expression shifts from youthful concern to righteous anger as he hears Goliath's taunts and sees the fear in the soldiers' eyes. He approaches his older brothers, who are among the soldiers. Into this despair walks a boy, David, sent by his father to bring food to his brothers on the front lines. He is not a soldier, merely a shepherd, but when he hears the giant's blasphemous mockery, a fire ignites within him. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? He asks, his voice clear and sharp. His words are met with scorn from his eldest brother, Eliab. "Why have you come down here?" Eliab rebukes him, his own fear twisting into anger. "I know how conceited you are and how wicked your heart is. You came down only to watch the battle." But David is unmoved by the rebuke, his focus fixed on the dishonor being done to his God and his people. Scene: David is brought into the royal tent. King Saul sits on a simple throne, his face a mask of weary despair. David, small and unassuming, stands before him, his posture radiating a confidence that seems utterly out of place. Word of the boy's bold spirit reaches the king. David is brought before Saul, a stark contrast of youth and age, of faith and fear. The king, a head taller than any other Israelite, looks at the young shepherd with doubt. "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him," Saul says, his voice heavy. "You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." But David's reply is firm. He recounts his battles against lions and bears while protecting his father's sheep, declaring that the same God who delivered him then will deliver him now. Seeing a flicker of hope where there was none, Saul reluctantly agrees. "Go, and the Lord be with you." He offers David his own royal armor, a bronze helmet, and a coat of mail. David tries them on, but they are heavy and unfamiliar. He removes them. "I cannot go in these," he says, "for I am not used to them." He will face the giant not as a soldier, but as a shepherd. Scene: a long, quiet sequence at a brook. David kneels by the gently flowing water. The camera focuses on his hands as he carefully selects 5 smooth stones. He feels their weight, their balance, testing each one. His expression is one of intense, prayerful concentration. He looks up to the sky for a moment, a silent communion with his God. David walks to a nearby brook. The scene is quiet, a stark contrast to the noise of the camp and the giant's roars. There is no haste in his movements. He carefully inspects the stones in the stream bed, his focus absolute. He is not merely gathering ammunition. He is choosing his instruments of faith. He selects 5 smooth stones, feeling the heft and balance of each one in his palm. Placing them in his shepherd's bag, he takes a moment, his gaze turning upward to the heavens. It is a silent prayer, a quiet surrender, an affirmation of his trust not in his own ability, but in the power of God. Scene: David walks alone into the valley floor. Goliath sees him approaching and bursts into derisive laughter. The giant is massive, David a mere speck in comparison. With his staff in one hand and his sling in the other, David begins the long walk into the center of the valley. The Philistine champion sees him coming and scoffs in disbelief. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" Goliath curses David by his gods, his voice dripping with contempt. Come here, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." The armies watch in silence, but David's voice, though not as loud, rings with a power that stills the air. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin," he calls out, "but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands." Scene: David places a stone in his sling. He begins to hurl it faster and faster. The camera follows in slow motion as he releases the stone. The small projectile cuts through the air, a blur against the sky. It strikes Goliath squarely on the forehead. A look of pure shock crosses the giant's face before his eyes roll back. He sways, then crashes to the ground with a thunderous impact that sends up a cloud of dust. The confrontation is set.